was like
Ugh.
the most beautiful 20 seconds. I was just like, all my dreams came true there. That was so great.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a nice strategy. They had more synergy than last game. They had a lot of minus armor with Alk, with Venge, with the Razor too. Razor actually didn't, or they had a life stealer, so he could drain it a lot too. So life stealer wasn't like super effective.
Yeah.
It was like a lot more put together. I think that it would have gone a lot smoother if their other lanes didn't just like feed miserably though. Like
Yeah, I really thought that was over when the Windrunner was 0-6. Honestly, I was like, okay.
But, I mean, an Ice Ice we trust. I mean,
Yeah.
they can't have Ice Ice everywhere, unfortunately. I think he's probably the best player on their team.
Oh, yeah.
And if they had like a little bit more solid offlane or carry, then they could win a lot more games. But they had to fight back from a pretty large deficit, and only through Ice Ice's like ridiculous farm were they able to power through that.
I really like the Battle Fury choice rather than going for something really greedy like a Midas. Battle Fury gives you not only just a lot of farming potential, but the right click is really serious because your attack speed is already pretty high from having Alchemist. So plus 65 damage on top of that is great. You can grab a BKB for early fighting. You guys criticized the Shadow Blade a little bit. He maybe didn't get ganks off, but I mean, even the later Shadow Blade, he did produce a couple kills, especially against like Weaver, who is very stacked towards preventing magic damage when really what he had to worry about was just minus armor burst. So
Yeah,
I think he needed Lincoln's too.
yeah,
I actually like the Shadow Blade. I just would have liked to see it sooner.
Yeah,
I don't think
exactly.
the BKB early actually did anything. Again, I think it's like Lumi said. I don't think it was perfect from Zenith, but that was not perfect, and they beat Fnatic.
Yeah.
That's scary.
It did help a lot against Clockwork, for example. You do have to worry about that magic burst. Like,
That's
Battery
true.
Assault is really scary. Clock had a really good
Getting
early
cogs
game as well.
or getting pushed back by the cog. That's
Yeah,
so
and
annoying.
the cogs are really frustrating. If you get cogged in and even Clockwork escapes, you can't even exit the cogs without getting burned. So,
I'm also surprised that Fnatic chose Enigma in like both of these games. I didn't feel like it was that big of an impact. Like,
yeah. Was there any good black holes?
I don't think
the
so.
The Courier almost died. They used it to kill.
but like,
Alchemist
why
once,
not?
but-
If they're going to use like solo holes like that, why not use Fiend's Grip, for example?
Well, you can't jungle with Bane.
Yeah,
Is one
he
problem.
was able to push a
So-
lot. He was able to gank a lot. I mean, I don't want to put the game on Enigma. I don't think he played poorly.
I don't think he played poorly at all
yeah,
either.
it's sometimes. I don't think you pick Enigma for the black hole. That's how I see the hero.
Yeah, and I also think like the turning point in this game was that Ancients fight. They just took
Yeah,
Roche.
yeah.
They threw away Aegis, Lifestealer's life, and 2 other heroes for nothing. Literally nothing. And Ice got the Ancients.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
And
want.
AC.
I don't know if I would quite say throw, but that was like a catastrophic fight for them.
Yeah.
That was
It was a little too greedy.
You've
probably.
stacked it's like you're building that house of cards, and then they just went. Whoosh.
They're like, wait, let's just put one more on it before we push and win the game.
So going into the series, most of us predicted 2-0. Did we overrate Fnatic or did we underrate Zenith?
Yeah, or let's ask the question: did Fnatic or did Zenith win the game, or did Fnatic lose the game there?
I think Zenith won the game.
Okay, I think Fnatic lost the game, to be honest.
I think Fnatic lost the game too.
Yeah, they were so ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of both. A little bit of both. I still think Zenith did some really smart things with the draft. Like, I thought their execution was mediocre. Again, I think XY should have been at the Ancients a lot more, just doing what Funnick does for Navi. Play more defensively. Ice, I think the Shadow Blade first would have been a bit stronger. I felt like some of the early movement from Venge and Chen didn't accomplish a whole lot, but I thought the draft was really good. They had so many ways to deal with Lifestealer, and
yeah.
when Lifestealer didn't get huge and Trixie got shut down early, they were kind of out of gas in the mid game.
Yeah.
But it was not perfect by Zenith.
I guess the most impressive thing is I want to just repeat what Purge was saying. Like, there is some inevitability with that Razor ultimate. Because when you double Razor ult and you just walk up the hill, like, you know the game is ending one way or another in 20 seconds. Either your base gets blown up or they get blown the hell up because...
That needs to be, like, the visual effects for that, in all seriousness, need to be toned down. Because
Nah, man.
I actually think
You
that
need to
never
amp it up
happens.
by like 80%.
Okay, if not, then Dota 2 needs to come with a big epileptic seizure warning. Because, seriously, someone's going to get a seizure from that.
I don't
Need more
understand
lightning.
how we
Yes,
farm that,
Zeus.
honestly. Like, Razor is not the fastest farmer.
He just
like,
came out of nowhere
you
with
have
like a
Plasma
refresher.
Field.
I was like, what's
Yeah.
going on? He just picked up Axe.
And he had eggs and a BKB,
BKB.
on top of it. Like,
Too much.
Yeah.
What do you do?
That was beautiful.
That was great. And the best part is, even if they black hole it, you're still just zapping.
I know.
If you guys don't know how that works, it reduces in 1 armor every time it zaps.
Yep.
So if you get refresher, it's just like, and it does physical damage, so it accelerates and does more and more. That's why the Enigma popped his wand, and it didn't matter. It would just burn through him even faster.
And it also, with Aghanims, works on buildings. Not the minus armor, as I mistakenly thought in the past, but the damage does. So it
That's
just
right.
shreds towers.
Yep.
Shreds them. Well, guys, that wraps up this series. Let's take a quick look at the groups, and then we'll break, and we'll come back for our next match. So, group standings. Cow, you've been on the ball today, buddy. He didn't sleep much last night, but here he is. So, I think Navi is playing...
DK 4-0.
I believe Navi and Mouse
Dang.
are playing now on
Wow.
Toby's stream.
DK 2-0 LGD.
This doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, Gods and I were both saying coming to this event that DK, we actually think they're a very strong shot to win the event.
Wow.
But it is early.
So,
Two best of two still.
one undefeated team in Group A, and looks like
LGD
3 so
2-2.
far.
What happened there?
They lost to DK.
Okay, it was to DK.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not too surprising. I would have said DK is definitely top 5 of the whole event, so I'm not too surprised to see them start off with 4-0. Keep in mind, in Alienware, they also did really, really well. LGD finished, bottom of the pack, ends up winning, or getting second, correct? So
I have LGD China on my compendium.
I've
as a
been
team to
told
win it all.
I've been told that DK and LGD are both 3-1. Kawa, the chat's freaking out. So
Oh, it's
they're
3-1.
both 3-1.
Okay, so
apparently.
they won each other.
Yeah, so
I assume if this many people in chat are mad, they probably know what they're talking about.
Okay.
Okay, we'll fix that, guys. Don't
Yeah.
relax.
Yeah, I have
Relax.
LGD China as a team to
Go-
win it all for myself. So
no undefeated
Oh, wow.
teams in Group A.
Yeah.
one thing to point out, Dignitas is sitting at 2-2 if that's accurate.
Who
I
did
dou-
they
I
they
doubt,
beat?
I doubt everything now, but
Who did they beat?
MUFC.
they were playing MUFC.
How
There is
are they
just-
2-2 and MUC is only 0-3?
This is
there is just no correct information at all anywhere.
Alright guys, we threw a bunch of numbers on the board. Might be right. Not sure.
All right, I'm gonna go to Dota2.com.
No, but they're not updated.
Yeah, this morning they were wrong because they had like 0-0 DK.
They had
which-
Navi 2-0
Yeah.
after getting stomped by Fnatic 2-0.
Okay, according to Dota2.com, Navi has won a game. They're 1-2 now.
Okay, we're getting there, Jarrett. No, DK's 3-1. LGD 3-1. We're gonna fix this right now. You're not going anywhere, buddy. Okay, I think that's right. Show the website again, Luby.
All right, we
I want to
have.
have the right stats before we talk.
All right, we have 0-4 MUFC. We have 1-2 Navi. And 1-2 Mal Sports.
Okay,
And I think you have everything else.
so Mouse is 1-2. I guess we need to update that.
Well, according to this website, Zenith is also 1-2, which is impossible because they play 4 games already. Because
Well, yeah, they did. They just won that one. So Mouse 1-2. I guess their other game versus Navi underway. So they, wait, they were 1-1, I guess, and they just dropped a game. Was that the case?
what's the case?
I think Navi just took a game off Mouse, and now they're playing their second game. So
Right.
Navi's 1-2, Mouse is 1-2, and then
Right.
then we're correct.
And then Fnatic is
Jesus.
3-1. Yeah.
This production value off the charts.
So will there be any undefeated teams here? I guess Alliance and
not in
Tongfu
Team A.
is
Not in Group A.
not in Group A. Alliance, Tongfu, as well as Invictus Gaming is on record, on track to do that.
Kawa. Fix.
Which one?
Mouse is 1-2, and Navi's 1-2. Just disband. Let's just disband.
How did Kawa not have sleep?
I don't know.
The
Because
fuck
he
were you
was on this Asian sleep schedule.
One
Now
thing-
that TI3 started, he's up all night.
Kawa, you have the biggest tournament in the whole year. You don't,
Hey,
you
give
don't
him a
sleep
break.
for it.
Give him a break. I would mess up too.
I didn't sleep too much either.
One thing that really sticks out to me is Mouse Sports sitting down there, 7th of their group, and we were predicting possibly the 4th place. So not looking so hot for them.
I will say I spoke to Black yesterday before the games today, and they apparently didn't have the best practice, the best boot camp at TI3,
Okay.
and at least he didn't feel that confident going into their games today. So maybe there's some truth to that. Then again, I mean, you always have to go back to that example yesterday. Quantic was super confident, and then they got rolled. So your feels only matter so much.
Yeah, TI3, it's pretty high skilled. Turns out.
Yeah. It's still early, though. I mean, even after day one, Navi went 0-6 on day one last year. So as much as we'd love to crown a champion off of these group
I don't
stage
think they
results,
go 1-0-6. They went like 2-4.
2-4. I think
Something.
they went 0-6.
Really?
1-5 maybe.
I feel like they
It was
won a
really
game.
bad.
I feel like I would remember if they won 0 games day one.
Yeah, I
They
think
had a
won one
really
or
bad
something.
day one.
Yeah, it was a bad day, but I think they won at least one match.
And
one
I mean,
game.
CLG went 6-0, finished 6-8. So anything could happen.
Well, what's coming up next for us is LGD International versus Rattlesnake. So that should be a pretty decent game to watch.
Should be a close one, I think.
Yeah, I personally like to watch LGD, so because I haven't seen too much.
So guys, we will take a very quick break. Then we'll come back and we'll be casting LGDN versus Rattlesnake. Stay with us.
reason I am here. Calls for help fall on deaf ears. What makes you judge and jury? I will never know. I'll break your hold on me. I need to go. It's not my time to leave. There's so much more to this. I'll love my life's not yours. No, you won't break me. You should know by now. The end for me will be the beginning of my story. To live again is such a strange high. Let nothing pass me like before. New love and dreams to make. How will we ever stay away? I'll break your hold on me. I need to go.
Well, we're only halfway there, Lumi. It's LGDN versus Rattlesnake. Welcome back to the International 3 group stages, the Beyond the Summit studio. I'm LD, and he's Lumi. And it's time to introduce LGDN versus Rattlesnake. Best of 2. We can introduce the teams, and actually, before we do we want to look at the groups real fast so we know where these teams are? Because
Yeah.
I think that'll be very helpful to some
We've
of
been
the viewers.
bouncing between groups, and it could be somewhat confusing. So we're in Group B right now.
This is actually a big match for them because these
Yeah.
are two of the weaker teams in Group B, and if you lose this match 0-2, I feel like your chances of not being bottom 4 are very slim.
Yeah, if you go 0-4 on day 1, I mean, sure there was the Navi comeback from last year, but
But that was Navi.
that was Navi, so...
LGDN Rattlesnake. LGDN had that nice run of G League Season 2, but they haven't looked particularly strong as of late. With that being said, though, we should introduce the teams quickly. The draft is actually already underway, but we do want to give the players their time in the sun. So here we go. Icy, one position player for Team Rattlesnake. Generally, we see him on that Doom occasionally as well. Or no, sorry, that's Luo. But this is a team that likes to switch up their roles quite a bit. We'll see if
Not
they get a
anymore,
better
though,
one.
in this tournament. They've been very
Very
standard.
consistent.
Yeah.
We've seen Kabu on that interesting kind of off-lane quap role at times. We'll see if he goes for that again. Luo on your 2 position, solo mid. Our 3 position player. Our 3 position player is Lamb. Solo mid, off-lane, jungler, whatever you want. 4
Really the
position,
star of the team, yeah.
Kabu, known for his clockwork. We did see him on off-lane quap today. And last but not least, you have your 5 position player. That is Sagam or Neo. With that being said, we can introduce their opponents. The draft is well underway, so we're going to rush through these very quickly. It's LGDN. Pycat will be playing the 1 role for this team. Occasionally, we'll see the Luna as well. The 2 player is God Kill Them All, or G, your solo mid. Looking very dapper there. You've got Brax, your offlaner. I think Darkseer by far his go-to hero. Misery, your jungle utility support. Last but not least, we do a 1437. That one being handled by... or sorry, not that one being handled. I'm so used to introducing the actual heroes. But with that being said, it's LGDN versus Rattlesnake. Predictions, you have like 3 seconds.
All right, I'm going to go with LGD2O.
LGD, I'm going to go with 1-1. And with that being said, we'll introduce our casters now. Merlini, Purge, take it away.
Hey guys, I'm not so hopeful about a 2-0. I'm thinking more
I think
1-1. But
These two teams seem fairly evenly matched.
yeah, I would definitely agree
I haven't
with
seen LGDN perform though. I think they played Alliance, I believe, in the first game.
Yeah, and that's a hard match,
That's a
so
hard match.
it's not really a good way to gauge things. So a very unexpected Batrider and Lifestealer on the same team, surprisingly going to LGD and they got a Visage, which already looks like a really fantastic draft to me.
Yeah, they banned out OD and Alchemist. Rattlesnake kind of forced to ban out Wisp. And Darkseer, I guess, is a pretty popular hero from LGDN. But giving away Lifestealer and Bat is pretty devastating.
Yeah, Dragonite's going to be taking up the mid role for Rattlesnake here. It's possibly going to be against a Batrider, which isn't a very favorable matchup. And what did they get instead? They got a Nyx Assassin, which in other games we watched today, it's very useful to set up invis ganks with like Lifestealer bombs and things like that. But I mean, is that really what they want to grab for the first couple picks? They also have a Chen, so they could do a lot of early tower pushing, which could be why they wanted the Dragonite so early, because Dragonite at level 6 plus Chen is great for killing towers. But at the moment, it looks like LGD got all the good heroes.
Yeah, Nyx Assassin is decent versus Batrider in the mid lane and somewhat to counter initiate if he blinks in and Fireflies and does all this good lasso stuff. You can try and counter initiate with a just walk into the Firefly with a Carapace. But I mean, Nyx is Nyx and Batrider is, I wouldn't say he's like the hero of this tournament, but he is widely considered one of the most imbalanced heroes in Dota right now.
That's definitely true. We are going to see a Razor ban as well as a Weaver ban, Enchantress, and a Rubik. Obviously, Rattlesnake's a little scared about an aggressive tri-lane. Makes complete sense because they've already got two of the best tri-lane heroes. Lifestealer as the carry and Visage as the support is really nasty for survivability from Lifestealer plus range nuke from Visage. If they could put an Enchantress on top of that and do an aggressive jungle and just shut down whatever Chen wants to do, it could really throw a big kink in whatever Rattlesnake wants to do.
Rattlesnake does have a decent like pushing line if they want to do that as their 4 or 5 LGD and doesn't actually have that much AoE, and Rattlesnake has the Dragonite and Chen, so they do kind of have to watch out for that. But if they pick up Bounty Hunter, they're definitely switching gears from that.
Yeah, Bounty Hunter's not a very common offlane hero currently. We did see LGD Int picking up earlier today against Alliance. They ended up losing that game, not that that was necessarily the reason, but one cool thing that I do like about the Bounty Hunter though, as he tracks his opponents, there's a lot of movement speed heroes on LGD right now, mainly the Lifestealer as well as the Batrider. So if you can keep your allies moving faster, they have a better chance of being able to kite those heroes, and maybe they'll be able to work them down. So if you can stay away for 6 seconds, wait for Rage to run out, hit him with the Dragonite stun or a Nyx Assassin stun, they have a decent chance of being able to burst them down.
I'm actually surprised they picked it 4th, though. I think they could have probably feigned into like a Lone Druid pick or something like that and keep LGD in guessing. But with Bounty Hunter, they're not doing push strategy, and they don't have to worry about it. They don't have to pick any anti-push or like a Magnus or like a Windrunner, any of those, or Keeper Light. Keeper Light not very good versus Nyx Assassin, but still, you always want to keep your opponents guessing, especially at this point in the draft.
Yeah, plus I feel like this also opens them up towards being aggressively tri-laned again, because if Bounty Hunters expect to be in the off lane, they could easily put Batrider there, right? Put Batrider against Bounty Hunter, that's a pretty easy matchup win for Batrider. They can still do an aggressive tri-lane with Lifestealer, Visage, and Crystal Maiden to try to shut down the Dragonite Nyx, and then match up mid favorably as well if they just need something that can beat a Dragonite.
Which is most range heroes.
Yeah, basically. Or, I mean, Dragonite can CS okay with Breathe Fire and maybe Rune Control, but winning the lane really heavily is most likely not going to happen. It would maybe be a little scary because they have a Chen. That would be a defensive Chen jungle, but I don't know. I think LGD definitely has the possibility to do this.
Yeah, LGD has a fantastic early game right now, and if they get an early Blink Rider on Bat, I can just see continued aggression on Rattlesnake, and Dragonite or whoever their carry of choice may be in the triple lane is just not going to be able to get any sort of farm. I'm actually surprised Gyrocopter made it that far into the draft too. He's banned out last from Rattlesnake. I think that it would have worked pretty well into the lineup. Let's see what other hard carries are there. Alchemist banned out first by LGD. Any carries that come to your mind?
Do they really need a hard carry is the question.
I think they need. I don't think they need a hard carry. I think they need like a fighter carry, like Lifestealer or Gyrocopter. I think would be ideal.
You're saying Rattlesnake does? Or
Rattlesnake
are we
does.
talking LGN?
Not
Okay.
LGDN.
I mean, either team could just focus on mid matchups. I think LGD, like we said, has more abusable matchups. If they grabbed a Gyro, for example, they could have put it against either Bounty Hunter or Dragonite and maybe had a decent lane advantage.
Right.
So, yeah, most of the carries are definitely gone, though.
Yeah, I think LGD can just go with like a standard solo mid, like Puck or even Storm. Storm works pretty well with the
really
Lifestealer
good.
bomb, but it's somewhat vulnerable to Nyx. The man burn really hurts him, and I mean, if you get an Orchid, Nyx gets destroyed pretty hard. But I think like Puck would be a safer choice, and it also works well with the Lifestealer bomb, and works well into their aggressive strat, trying to win their lanes. Batrider should win his matchup. This triple lane should win against other triple lanes, and Puck should beat a Dragonite out.
Yeah, especially I was going to say if Dragonite was on safe carry, but that's not going to happen. Most likely will be him in the mid lane. But it looks like Rattlesnake gets to pick first. They've got... Okay, it's going to be a Queen of Pain. So Queen of Pain is going to be possibly farming with a Nyx, are you thinking? Or do you think it's going to be Quap mid versus Bat?
I think it's going to be Quap mid versus Bat, but I'm scared for the triple lane. If it matches up triple versus triple, I don't think that Dragonite will fare very well at all. Like, he has a stun, but it's not very useful. It's kind of like... It's like worse than Rubik Telekinesis in the format. It's not AoE, it doesn't do any damage, and all it does is keep it
25.
Whoa,
Okay.
oh, man. That's like a whopping like 18 damage after magic
That's
resist.
half an auto attack, guys.
Woof.
Yeah, it's pretty
That's
insane.
deeps.
So, yeah, Dragonite, pretty crappy tri-lane hero before 6.
They're forced to defend the triple lane if they want to DK, I think. If they do aggressive triple lane, they're just going to get rolled by LGDN.
Yeah, especially if LGDN can match it up, for example, if they don't get to dodge it. It's a Shadow Fiend last pick, so...
Wow.
I guess this will be, I assume, either Shadow Fiend or Batrider safe lane. They can put either one mid and do relatively okay against Quap, and they can still match up their tri-lane here. I think LGDN's picks are much superior to Rattlesnakes.
Yeah, I think that LGDN also has a better like roaming lineup too. Visage and CM I think is a much more effective pair early. I think they can babysit the Shadow Fiend enough, and if Rattlesnake tries to go with a lot of early aggression in the mid lane, if both teams decide to do safe lane triples.
So it looks like it's going to be G on the Lifestealer, which may indicate that he will be going mid. If it is a DK, I guess they could do that.
I've never seen G play Shadow Fiend, so I have seen Pycat play mid a lot, not in official games, but still in just like regular games. So I don't actually know how much they do role reversal, but it's something that could potentially happen.
Well, let's take a look at the players really quick for the Radiant team here. We've got LGD Int. Brax is going to be playing the Batrider. We've got Pycat on the Shadow Fiend. G is on the Lifestealer. Misery is playing Crystal Maiden. And we've got 1437 playing the Visage.
And on my hotkeys are all messed up because I'm on Lumi's account. And on the side of Rattlesnake, we have Luo on the Queen of Pain. I believe. Let's check his item build. He has spent all his gold. Looks like he may be going safe lane. We see Icy on the Bounty Hunter, Kabu on the support Chen, Lon M, the hero of the wild card match, on the Dragon Knight, and Sag Heart M on Nyx Assassin.
Okay, so Rattlesnake's heading towards the top lane. It looks like it will be Dragonite mid. He's got the 3 Ironwood branches with 1 Tango, so most likely, let's double check to see who's going to be going mid. G is saving a little bit of money. The other possible mid heroes is Pycat. He could be going to mid build here. He's got a Salve and a Tango, a bit more than we normally see.
Yeah, I think he expects B versus Queen of Pain because I think Dragonite versus DK, that's a very bad matchup for the DK. And he has some like decent base damage, he has 52, but not as much as a melee hero needs to
you
shut
mean
down.
Dragonite versus which hero?
Versus Shadow Fiend.
Versus Shadow Fiend, okay. You said DK, so.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, Dragonite versus
DK.
Dragonite.
Well, it looks like G's going to go middle on the Lifestealer. I think they expect it versus versus the Dragonite.
Yeah, we have been seeing this sometimes, and it's pretty effective for the reason that Lifestealer's really hard to gank. Oh, a gank's coming? Okay, I'll just be magic immune for 2.5 seconds, or however many points you have in it. Usually we'll see them max out open wounds really fast that they have kill potential, but basically any time that Dragonite comes into the melee range, they're just going to... He's going to trade hits with them and steal a lot of HP.
So they scout Icy out. He's trying to interfere with Brax's jungling, and I think he's just going to block the big spawn. Do they have any sentry wards is the question.
I believe I saw that. There's one. Frostbite goes down. Brax only has Firefly, does not have Sticky Napalm. There's the Grapes, and they have a Dust, and this is going to guarantee a kill on Icy. And I've heard people say this before. If you want to kill a Bounty Hunter, you buy Dust and Sentries at the start of the game, and he has no chance. And the first blood goes to LGD Int, and a nice gold advantage for them.
Yep, and Brax looks like he will have an easy start in the jungle. There's no way that Bounty Hunter is going to go back there after what happened.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tough. He is actually swinging back towards the bot lane. He does have another ward to place. He could hypothetically enter the jungle invis and then get the ward and get out. And he does want to slow down this jungling Batrider because he is playing the offlane role. He's not going to go to the top lane because he'll be pretty vulnerable to the Nyx Assassin Quap. And if they can slow down his farm, stop him from getting a 7-8 minute Blink Dagger, then it'll be a nice advantage. And there's the Observer Ward. He ends up placing in the jungle. This is not going to block a camp, but it will at least scout out some support heroes coming from the other way.
So I think that even without this first blood, I think that LGDN would be coming out ahead just because they're trading a Shadow Fiend farm versus a Queen of Pain farm, which is perfectly okay for the Shadow Fiend because Shadow Fiend is quite vulnerable in the early stages of the game. But Queen of Pain is not. So they're kind of like not exploiting the weakness of the LGD int lineup. And Bounty Hunters, I mean, he's going to get levels and 6 relatively soon, but Pycat's just having the easiest time of his life right now. 8 and 8. So
Yeah.
I don't think he's missed a creep yet.
When I checked the bot lane, as Bounty Hunter got back to the lane, Pycat already had 10 souls picked up, which is plus 20 damage, which means Icy's not going to have a good time. The best thing he can do here is try to disrupt pulls and steal these neutrals. But other than that, it's going to be a really rough lane for him.
Yeah, he has boost first, and that will give him some sort of breathing room, but they have dust, and he has to be really, really scared so he doesn't give up early second blood.
So we have some early pushing going on the top lane. No catapults here. It looked like they were trying to pull into the side camps, but at least some tower damage will be done. So there's a chance that they'll lose an early tier 1 top, but I don't think they're really that
think they
concerned.
care at all.
They have 2 lanes that they're winning, plus they have a jungler.
Yeah,
So
they have a free farming bat. He's already had a triple stack at the big camp and farming these 2 camps at one time. Let's see who first blood went to. It actually went to
the Visage, I
1437.
believe, yeah.
So it won't be a super fast blink dagger, but it should be fast enough.
So we'll see where Pycat goes with his item builds this game. Most likely we'll stick to the typical BKB, especially against a Nyx Assassin and a Dragon Knight. We saw some of the other teams run into that trouble earlier today with like the gyrocopter on Navi kept
I
getting
see in a
stunned
little bit of
before
trouble.
BKB. He's going to take some right click on. Oh, that's sorry, you're looking at the